anything else. I mean, you got it. That's a pretty good deal. What I'd like everyone to do is to please stand up, and there's an American flag right over there in that room. And I want you all to think that y'all have seen it or are looking at it. So I'd like for you to say the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank y'all. I want to start this by making an apology. And the apology is that yesterday I was getting ready to come up here, and George messaged me on LinkedIn and said, you are going to speak up here. He wasn't that impressed, but that's what he said. You're going to speak up here at the Oklahoma chapter. It's the first one. Thank y'all very much for having me. Like was said, I'm a 45-year veteran of the oil and gas business. I started before I went into the service. I went to school. My uncle owned a workover rig in Chapel County, Texas, and I worked in the summers wrenching rods. That was between my sophomore and junior year. Then my junior and senior year, I worked there too. I decided right then and there I would go to college because I did not like wrenching rods. And so there I went to college, and then about 1968 I got out of college, and there was a conflict going on. It was called the Vietnam War, and I was drafted. And I went to basic training. I was a private. Then they said, do you want to go to OCS? And I said, that's Officers Candidate School. And I said, yes. And I went to Officers Candidate School. And while I was in Officers Candidate School at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, so I lived in Oklahoma. I'm not a foreigner. At Fort Sill. And then there's little mountains there that we try to blow up all the time. Anyway, I graduated there and then was going there, and they said, do you want to go to flight school? And I said, yes. Little did I know, I picked two of the most dangerous positions an officer could be. One's a forward observer, and one's a helicopter pilot. So they kind of made it sound a lot different than that. You know, I was going to be an officer and I was going to be a pilot, but I was a target. Anyway, after I got out of flight school, I went to Vietnam. That looks pretty good, doesn't it? Yeah. I went to Vietnam, and I spent 365 days there. And I got over 1,200 combat hours. I have 42 air medals with V, and I have a couple bronze stars in the DOC, as he said, Distinguished Flying Cross. But it was a group effort. I didn't get them, we got them. The guys that worked with us. When I got out of Vietnam, I came back, my wife and I were down at Fort Sill, and I didn't want any part of the modern volunteer army, McNamara and all that thing. So I got out, and I started my career in the oil and gas business. And I started working for a company called Aztec Manufacturing Company. And they upset and bred oilfield tubulars. So that's how I got into equipment business. Then I started my own, and I'm not telling you this, but what I'm going to tell you, that it relates so much to what's going on right now. And And what's going on right now is there's no business, is there? I mean, you can't make people buy from you. But what I'm going to tell you is that in 1984, I owned about $1.5 million worth of drill pipe that I've had manufactured and put together and paid for. And I could not give it away. But in December the 7th of 1984, I had an epiphany. And I was yelling and screaming at God, and I said, I can't handle this anymore. And God said, He didn't talk to me, but this is what I heard, it's going to be okay. You're going to be okay. God did for me what I could not do for myself. He took me and made me accept what was happening. So I started trying to put things together, and I was done, but I'm still here. And I've owned companies, I've sold companies, I've consulted companies, I've drilled my own wells. The way I got into the operating business, I sold some pipe to somebody that didn't pay me, and they ended up with a dadgum oil well. So then I went and started drilling my own. I didn't learn, but in 1984, in 84, 85, I had a well being drilled, and my investor said, stop. That was it. It was over. So what I'm saying is through work and prayer, and back then I had a Rolodex. I don't know if anybody remembers what a Rolodex was, but I knew a lot of people. And I got on that Rolodex and started calling people. That's what we're doing here. We're trying to help each other. We're trying to reach out. And I don't know what anybody thinks about this, but our business is built on relationships. If you call a guy and he says he's going to do something in this business, he'll do it, or he won't get any business, right? Ever again. So what I'm asking y'all to do is reach out. There used to be a telephone ad, reach out and touch someone. I don't want you to do that, you might get COVID. But what I want you to do is reach out now with internet, LinkedIn. I use LinkedIn. I love LinkedIn. Sometimes I don't know what I'm doing, but I love it. Little story. I like to, my kids used to say, let me tell you a story, and usually it's been something that they got in trouble for. Anyway, what happened is that this little story is that I owned in 81, IBM came out with had an 8-inch disc. I don't know if anybody ever saw that. It was a glorified word processor. But it was, and I forgot what it was called, but I bought it. So I've been in it a long time. So I love this industry. I love the people in it. 99.9% of the people are good people. The other ones we won't talk about. Or if that's not true, we will. We won't say that. We're just concerned, right? We're not talking about them, right? Anyway, bless their heart, right? Bless their heart. Anyway, but what I want to do is thank y'all for coming and being a part of my life. Y'all add to my life. You don't take away. It's